get your receiver group settled, injuries kind of crop up. What are the challenges now, not knowing if you're going to have Keon, and we don't know about Amari yet either?
Yeah, I mean, throughout the course of the season, it's going to happen. That's the name of the game. It's not if you get hurt, it's when you get hurt, right? So just dealing with, whether we have new guys or, we got to get them moving around a little bit today. That was good to see. So jury's still out, and again, we rock with who we got. We do a good job in our offensive unit meetings and getting guys ready to go. So whatever the case is, we'll be prepared.
So you were, I think you were probably 11 years old when Flacco was drafted. That's pretty crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. No, he's an absolute baller. He throws one of the prettiest balls you'll ever see. I got the chance to spend a little bit of time with him in Tahoe at the golf tournament this last year, and he's an awesome guy too. So he's been around some of my friends, whether it was in New York with Sam or Mike. So I've heard a lot of good stories, a lot of good things about him, and I got to see it firsthand in Tahoe. So I got a lot of respect for him and his game. So Super Bowl winning quarterback. That's he's one of the ones. He's fantastic player, but an even better person.
I realize Amari has been out, but just working with him in meetings, just how do you feel he's picked up just the scheme in general, being an experienced guy like he is? Yeah,
I mean, since day one when he stepped in the building, he was ready to go, and he's only, again, continued to learn the playbook and learn his role in this offense. And, whether we get him back this week or the next or whenever that case is, I know he's going to be ready to go, and it'll be kind of plug and play and feel pretty seamless out there.
Couple familiar faces back, Jordan, Quinton. From your experience with them, what do they bring to the defense? What do they bring to the locker room?
Well, big bodies, number one. The familiarity with what we got going on here in Buffalo and type of men that we have in this locker room. And they've been playing really good football. I think Q had 10+ sacks last year, if I recall correctly. And I know Phil's hasn't been playing much this year with an injury, but glad to have those two back. They've been, again, good locker room guys for us, and they'll make an immediate impact on the field.
What do you see in this Colts defense? What are some of the issues you're going to be dealing with?
Yeah, I mean, I think they move around well. Their linebackers, they flow very, very fast. It's, they're a hard group to run on. And they play a lot of bend, don't break defense where they're going to force you to take some things that are underneath. I think their pass rush unit's pretty dang good. As we get more into the third down and the red zone today and tomorrow, we'll get a better sense of it. But you look at every game that they've played, they've been in every single one, and I think that's large in part due to their defense. Creating some takeaways and forcing field goals and not touchdowns down there in the red zone. So it's a really good unit.
You saw that all day last week against Miami. Just everything was, they wanted to just keep you in front. So you're seeing that with the Colts too when you watch them on film. Is going to be similar, you think?
Yeah, I think so. And again, every team's got different wrinkles when they play us, and we'll have to be prepared and ready to adjust in game. But typically from what they've shown this year, pretty heavy in zone defense. Don't bring a whole lot of pressures on first and second down, but when they get you in third down, they're a good unit. So we got to be prepared for their best punch.
Sorry to cut you off. Talk to Joe this week a little bit about how he's wanting to call plays that guys want to see out there and that kind of thing, and from the Friday meetings and all that. What has been the impact from your perspective of running plays that guys maybe want to see and that sort of thing?
Yeah, I think a lot of it's ownership, guys taking accountability of, if I told Joe that I want this play and he calls it, I got to go and make it work because, we're putting ourselves on the line there in terms of him trusting us. And, as long as we keep executing some of the plays that we like, he's going to keep calling them. So, again, the more you do, Joe always talks about the greatest reward for doing is the opportunity to do more. So that's all it really is just making sure that we're holding ourselves accountable. And if he's going to go out there and be a friendly play caller like that we got to make it work and make him look good at the same time.
Obviously, he wants to call plays that you're comfortable with, especially. But do you have any examples of maybe something you were really passionate that he called that maybe he wasn't sure, but or there was conversation about?
Yeah, I think it comes down to even going back to a couple weeks ago in Seattle, third down, third and short. There was a timeout. Go over to the sideline. I told him a play that I wanted, and he called it, and it worked out. And it's fulfilling for me that it worked, but for him too, it's like, all right, I trust this guy in what he's seeing, and to have a healthy relationship like that with your OC and he trusts you like that, it's a dang good feeling.
When you go into an offseason, what is your kind of process for how to go about like year over year improvement? And has it evolved at all over your career?
Yeah, I think each and every year it's just, again, finding something that I want to improve on. There's always something. I think this last year especially was the mental part of the game and understanding the offense and, just making sure that I'm making good decisions with the football, trying to limit turnovers. And I'm not going out there not trying to throw interceptions. I think I'm just going out there trying to make the right decision and then trusting my arm, trusting my feet, and trusting the guys around me and being okay with whatever outcome comes with it.
You mentioned like the command you've got now of the team and the offense as something that like stuck out to him for you this year. Is that like a natural outgrowth, you think, of you just getting a year older and being around, or does it come from the team getting a little younger and a little? Yeah,
I think it's a natural progression throughout the years that I've been in the league, and wouldn't say that I had this type of command in my first couple years, and every year that I've again grown and seen more football and been in different situations and been with different teammates and learning how to handle different personalities. That all plays into it. And again, that off season is a good time to sit back and reflect and bank those mental notes and really figure out how to be the best leader and the best teammate that I can be.
So how do you do that? Like how do you hone like a mental approach when you're not playing football? Is it just watching film? Is it talking to coaches? Like what's the?
Yeah, I mean, talking with coaches, obviously watching film. But again, talking with teammates and staying in touch and making sure that we're on the same page and trying to get, again, as many mental reps as possible, whether we're on a football field or we're just hanging out, if we're on the golf course. Again, talking, getting to know somebody deeper, because I do believe that pays dividends on the football field.
What's it like when the switch goes on for the offense, as happened after that turnover in the third quarter on Sunday? There's been several games where you guys have just went touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. What's that like, and why is it?
Well, I think it's a good feeling when the switch is on, and hopefully we can get that switch turned on when the game starts. But I think it's a culmination of a few things, whether it's early on, just again being mentally prepared, ready to go, but also like wearing on teams, committing to the run game and getting the screen game involved and taking our shots, but when they're not there, to checking it down and making sure that we're holding on to the ball and ending every possession in a kick, albeit a punt, a field goal, or a touchdown, or a point after touchdown. Just again, I think the more plays that you can run, the more opportunities that you have, and again, our O-line's done such a good job of creating lanes in the run game. Our running backs are running it hard, and that puts the defense in a tough situation throughout an entire game.
You talked with Elena that there are times this year where you've said on third down, I want to run this play. Is that something new this year, or is it your confidence level with the offense and where you are in your career that you've started to say, hey, I want this? Is that something new? Did you do that your rookie year, or is this just something?
Yeah, I don't think I did it my rookie year, but it's not entirely new. But again, for really a first-year play caller, if you will, with Joe and me, I know we had half a year last year, and this is the first full year. But for him to have that trust in me so early, that's obviously something that we've talked about, and we trust each other and feel good about. And our relationship's only growing. So I appreciate and respect him for that and trusting me in those types of situations. But ultimately, again, whatever he calls, I'm going to go up there and try to execute to the best of my ability.
Any major moves, trades in terms of yesterday? What do you think that says about his belief in this roster?
Yeah, I know he trusts the guy in this room, trusts the guys in this room, and we've got a lot of love and a lot of faith in each other in this building, and ultimately that's the only thing that matters.
It's a first-time play caller with this organization. Coach Curry comes in. What does he bring to the table as quarterback?
RC's been awesome. He brings familiarity with Joe. Obviously, they were in New Orleans together for quite some time. He's been around really good offenses. He's been around Drew Brees, who's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. A lot of good tidbits of information. His ability to not just to speak to the quarterbacks, but when we meet as wide receiver group, he's played the position. He's done that. He understands sometimes the way communication needs to be had about certain routes or concepts with certain guys, and he's been a tremendous help for me. Owe a lot of success to him this year because he's been fantastic, and really everybody in that room has been so great.
Over the years, you've talked about taking guys off the field, getting to know them, and reports that. Where did you learn that? Because we've never really asked you. Where did you see that? How did you learn that was an important thing?
I think it's just kind of how I grew up. Obviously grew up in the middle of nowhere. Really just had my family. Mom was a stay-at-home mom and took care of us, and Dad was working a lot. But when we got into high school, whether we were hanging out with friends or teammates, it was my parents did such a good job of like having everyone at our place, and maybe it's a learned trait of seeing that. It was just spending time with other people and just getting to know each other. Again, not a whole lot to do out on the farm except to play cards, play outside, play some video games with each other. So I think that's kind of where it stems from.
Ash, you mentioned what it does for when Joe Brady calls a play that you like and what it does for you personally. What happens when he calls a play that one of your teammates like? Like, what's it like to see that and get something they've worked hard at kind of affirmed by him?
Oh, they know it, they understand, they appreciate it, especially early on in the game when we're sitting in that meeting like, what play do you want to get going early, Khalil? Like, what would get you going? And he gives a play, and Joe's like, all right, it's play number 3, right? So, like, early on, it's a good feeling as a receiver or a tight end or a running back or even an O-line to know that, like, what I'm saying is being heard by the guy that's calling the plays when we're on the field.
One more question about Joe. Do different offensive coordinators have different ways of sort of approaching adjustments at halftime? How does Joe approach that specifically, and maybe how has that allowed you guys to be so successful in the second half of the season?
Yeah, he's been as consistent as possible in terms of, when we're in there, it's, hey, we're not going to blink. We're going to keep calling what we're calling. Let's keep wearing on guys and just hit our opportunities and play better. It's what it comes down to, is going out there and executing the play that he calls.